President Biden just announced a new plan to cancel billions more in student loan debt, aka make taxpayers absorb the loss. And his media allies are already out in full force defending the plan, but they're being flexible with the facts to do so. Here's what MSNBC's Rachel Maddow had to say.
The substance is straightforward and important. The politics are straightforward and important for President Biden. But just as important are the politics on the other side. Republicans already sued and successfully blocked one of President Biden's plans for forgiving student loans. After President Biden pivoted to use a different program to forgive more student loans, Republicans sued to stop that one too. Now President Biden has announced this latest plan today in Wisconsin. And so new Republican lawsuits against that one are expected any minute as well. And just think about what that means. Just like step back from that for a second. Republicans are suing over and over again in multiple states. Republicans are suing to make sure that Americans have to pay more in student loans, to make sure that you have to pay more interest to banks on your student loans. That is what they are offering America in this election year. Isn't that what America most needs? For banks to make more money off people who took out loans to go to college? Isn't that really, morally, isn't that a real justice issue for America?
We're going to break it all down because there's a lot to unpack there. But first, I'm Brad Palumbo, and welcome back to Mediaite, your home for commentary and coverage on the intersection of media and politics. So first things first, Maddow got brutally fact-checked on Twitter for something she said in that clip. Maddow claimed that Republicans are suing to make sure that Americans have to pay more money to banks. And this wasn't a verbal slip because she doubled down on it and said it again just moments later. This is not correct. Almost all student loans at this point are issued by and owed to the federal government, aka federal taxpayers, not private banks or private lending institutions. And the loans in question in this policy debate are all owed to the federal government, not banks. This really elementary area, it betrays a complete ignorance about this policy area. If she's truly an objective political commentator, why is Rachel Maddow leaping to defend the president's policy on something she clearly hasn't even taken the time to fully understand? And unfortunately, this was not the only issue with Maddow's comments. She also claimed that Republicans are fighting to make sure Americans have to pay more in student loan debt. Again, wrong. The fight is over who should have to absorb the cost of the loans. The people that signed their name on the dotted line and took out the loan and will benefit from increased lifetime earnings from the degree, or taxpayers, including those who never went to college, those who paid off their loans, or those who made great sacrifices to avoid taking out loans. We can and we should have that debate on the policy merits, but there's no scenario in which nobody has to ultimately pay the costs of the loans. We're arguing over who should pay it, not whether it should be paid at all. The taxpayer money was spent. It's either paid back or it isn't. But either way, somebody bears that burden. Maddow makes it out like Republicans are just miserly and evil and want people to suffer with their loans, rather than honestly explaining that, like most policy debates, this is a question of trade-offs. It's also bizarre how she emphasizes over and over again how Republicans are suing to stop the president from paying off loans, as if that's just all coming out of nowhere. When in fact, the reason the president keeps getting sued is because he keeps trying to spend taxpayer money unilaterally through executive action without Congress, which is supposed to have the power of the purse under our Constitution, actually passing a bill to do so. In fact, it's explicitly rejected his student loan plans multiple times. Heck, even Nancy Pelosi has admitted that the president doesn't have the power to cancel student debt without Congress. So if Biden had actually gone through the proper process and gotten Congress to pass this agenda, he wouldn't be getting sued by Republicans. Or if they did sue him, their lawsuits wouldn't get very far. But Maddow left all that out, either through ignorance or an attempt to just leave her audience in the dark. Either way, it's another example of bad coverage on cable news. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Thanks so much for joining me. Please do consider subscribing and sticking around. Don't forget to hit that like button if you got a kick out of this video, and comment with your thoughts below. And with that, I'll see you all in the next video.